Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Sankarshan Joshi trip. I don't know why I am particularly excited for this episode. This is a Q&A episode. If you don't know what that is, this is a part of the podcast where I ask a question on my Instagram poll and I share the responses with you guys. The question for today's episode is a piece of parenting advice you'd give to your own parents. I love this episode because the responses are amazing and they're like so insightful and so uh different. I had super fun doing this episode. Hope you guys have fun too.
A Sankarshan Joshi trip.
Just 10 minutes back before I started recording this, for some particular reason, I don't even know why, I just looked for some statistics to talk about in this episode. So I found this survey and HSBC's study on the hopes and expectation of parents on their children's education. And so this survey brings out pretty interesting responses of Indian parents and what they expect from their children's. Uh, so I was very surprised and not surprised at the same time when I heard these responses. So according to the study, the most important goal that Indian parents have for their children is that they build successful careers in their lives. So almost 51% of Indian parents have this as their top priority. And so only Mexican parents are ahead of Indian parents. So it's 52%. So 52% of Mexican parents want their kids to have like a successful career. Like that is their number one expectation. And so it is very surprising what comes in the second rank and third rank. Yeah, like I said, the first rank, 51% of the Indian parents chose successful careers, while 49% chose happiness in life. 33% identified a healthy lifestyle was an expectation. 22% wanted them to earn enough for a comfortable living, and 17% rated fulfilling their children's potential as the ultimate goal. Isn't this crazy? Like, Indian parents want their kids to be happy, like, that is the second expectation. I mean, yeah, it's like just a 2% less, but it's still second rank. And the first rank goes to like having successful careers. I mean, I was so blown away by this because people want their kids to have successful careers more than they want them to be happy. Like, like being able to afford things in life was the first priority than actually being happy. Uh, I was not very much surprised because technically I've seen so many Indian parents around me and I've seen my own parents. Like since you're a kid, like when you're studying, there is so much pressure for you to do something out of it. Like there's so much pressure to be good at school. There's so much pressure. Like if you finish school, there's so much pressure for you to choose what you want to do your bachelor's or do your degree in. uh, and then once you finish that, like there's so much pressure to get a job. So it is like we are all being like modified and we are all being like customized to have a successful career since when we were a kid. Like we've been grown into that, like to fit into a mold that they want us to be. However, like parents in the most developed countries did not give much weightage to successful careers. And India is a third world country, right? And developed countries, the parents uh, didn't want their kids to have successful careers as their first most priority, or like that's the most expectation. They wanted their uh, kids to be happy. Happiness, like no matter what they do, was the first priority. And I found this fact to be quite interesting because like Indians, we are a third world country, like I mentioned, and there is so much financial struggle around us, right? Like, there are very few Indian wealthy families. Majority of the Indians are middle class. So there is this middle class mentality, and especially with parents, like they always don't want you to take risk. They want you to live a life that is secure, which means study, get a job, and make a living, get married. Like, there is zero risks involved, because usually middle class families, there are like few decades back, which is our parents generation, it was not nuclear families. Like, usually it was joint families, or usually they were like minimum like 5 to 6 people living in the house, which is technically grandparents, parents, and kids. This is the minimum. And the earning member of the family has to take care of the needs of all the 6 people. Like, there is so much financial pressure on the like the breadwinner. So I mean, I can understand where this perspective comes, where this point of view comes. Like, I can try to understand their perspective. Times have changed, right? Like, it's like we are not this is not 1950s. This is 2021. Like, there is so many things have changed. But like, it's so surprising. Like, let me just check when this article was published. So basically, I am reading an article from Times of India, which was released in 2015. Wow. I wonder if the statistics has changed over the period of time. I am so sorry, guys. I should have mentioned this earlier. This survey or this article was published in 2015. So I don't know when this survey took place. But anyways, I found these like statistics to be like pretty interesting. And also, another interesting fact that I found in the same article was that one thing common to most Asian nations were a steady faith in additional tutoring. Uh, we come second rank here. Like, China, 74% of like Chinese parents provide additional tutoring to their kids, whereas we Indians, we come the second rank. So 71% of Indian parents provide additional tutoring to their kids. Like, I mean, like USA it's 26%, France it's 20%, Australia is 21%. Like, they're all in the 20s, but we are in the 71%. So basically, kids go to school, kids go to school to get education, and then they're getting additional tutoring of the same academic. So technically, we're not teaching them anything new. It's not like an extracurricular thing. It's not music or dance. It is of the same academic curriculum. This is so surprising, right? Like, this article actually re-established all the notions that I had of Indian family, or like Indian parenting, not family parenting. Uh, like, it was so common when I was growing up. Like, I've been tutored by 4 to 5 different people. Uh, no, no, 7. Yeah, I went to 7 tuitions other than my school in my entire schooling period. And even my 11th and 12th, I took additional tutoring. I mean, like, what is the whole if I am taking additional tutoring, then why am I going to school? It's like I'm spending significant amount of my time just doing this. So from morning to like from morning till afternoon or evening, I'd be at school. Once I come back, I went to the like tuition to get additional tutoring, and by the time I come back, it would be 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., just dinner and sleep. Like, I did not have any time to do anything else for the most part of my childhood. uh, I think that, like, when I look around this, it's not very abnormal to get additional tutoring. It's so normal. And there is this preconceived notion, right? Like, students who are hard to teach, or like students uh, who are very naughty, adamant, like hard to control, like usually those kids are sent for additional tutoring, because their parents can't really teach them, or like probably they don't have time or the patience to teach. the subject to them. But yeah, isn't this crazy? Like this statistics. Uh, I thought that this could be like a good segue to the Q&A, because the responses were like pretty amazing. They're very like unique. Question was a piece of parenting advice you would give to your own parents. So there is a lot of uh, there's a lot of personal things, because it's like a kid giving parenting advice to their own parents. There's a lot of uh, things that decide what piece of advice, like their like how was their childhood, how was the environment that they grew up in, blah blah blah. So yes, before we get into the Q&A, I just want to share like one piece of parenting advice that I'd give to my own parents, and two, like what am I grateful for. Like I just want to put that out too, because like my parents are awesome, like I really really love them. uh, but yeah, I just want to be grateful. So the first parenting advice I'd give to my parents is that, I mean, I see this in a lot of parents around me. It's that like when parents are like scolding you for something that you did wrong, it's generally in comparison with them. So basically they'd say things like, you know what, like when I was a kid, I wasn't like this, or you know what, see how I do things, like learn from me, kind of a like it comes from that perspective. So basically what happens is, when my parents put themselves on a pedestal and tell me to like be like them, or like what I'm lacking, and they put their the thing that they are good at in comparison to what I'm bad at. So this generated a lot of inferiority complex in me, and also anger and resentment to that, because like nobody is perfect, right? Like everybody has flaws. I wish my parents talked more about their flaws, especially while I was growing up. Let's say if I was bad at academic, let's say if I scored less marks in mathematics, my dad would, or my parents would yell at me like bro, like what the fuck types. And uh, I wish they would come from an empathetic perspective, like yeah, here's an example. If I was a parent, I would want to say things like, you know what, like even I was bad at mathematics, like I understand this, like I understand your struggle, even I was not perfect. Or like when parents talk about their flaws, like it makes children much more comfortable to share their flaws. Like if you always put yourself on the pedestal and tell your kid that, you know what, like I'm better than you at certain aspects, why would they want to share things with you? Because they already have a feeling that you are better than them. Like it creates an environment which is not comfortable to share flaws or to put flaws out there. So yeah, like this is one piece of parenting advice I'd give to my own parents, and I would want to live by this advice when I become a parent. So yeah. And the second part, the thing that I'm grateful to for my parents, there are a lot of things. I mean, this is the only piece of like of advice I'd give to my parents. Other than that, like I like whatever they support this podcast, like me doing this. They've always supported me doing anything else other than like academic. Like they'd uh like if I would dance in school and college, like they supported that. And they've always been encouraging for extracurricular activities. Another thing I'm grateful to them is that I come from a very traditional Hindu Brahmin family, which means there is a lot of emphasis that is being given to rituals and puja, like technically like spiritual routines that people do. And every time there is an occasion in my home, we all like celebrate it. So let's say recently there was this puja, it's called Varamaha Lakshmi Puja. So technically uh, we are praying a goddess called Lakshmi. And so the ritual basically like each puja or like each festival has its own ritual. So like my family and my parents, they do it so sincerely. So I kind of like since I was a kid, I've been bought into the spiritual environment. uh, so yeah, I'm grateful for that. And like there is a lot of healthy discussion that happens in my home regarding like surrounding these topics. Like I don't like I don't know why I'm specifically very curious about Hinduism, because Hinduism is much more broader than religion. Like it's a way of life which was being followed for centuries. Now the notion has been changed into religion. It kind of become like a community and herd. So yeah, I've been very curious about that aspect. Yeah, I wouldn't have been, or I wouldn't have learned, I wouldn't have read all the books about spirituality if it wasn't for my parents. So yes, I'm grateful for that. Now let's get into the Q&A, ladies and gentlemen. Like this was the point of the episode. Our first response is from Arjun underscore teachings. Look at stress levels, relaxation. Positivity is the key to accomplishment. Uh, I'm glad Arjun underscore teaching shared this, because, like I was mentioning initially, a lot of like the data shows that like Indian parents want their kids to be successful at their careers. So they don't consider a lot of other aspects like what is mentioning, like the stress levels, positivity, all of that. Like they don't consider that this pursuit of pushing and the toxic learning and like the toxic motivation, like to sit and learn all the time, like it becomes very negative to the kid. So yeah, like he's saying that positivity and relaxation is actually the key to accomplishment. So if you look at the perspective of what is making the kid happy, or what do I do, how do I teach the same subject differently so that the kid is much more like uh, interested or calm or enthusiastic, probably a lot of things would change in like Indian education system. Harish Anjana responds, your children or not your children. This is such a beautiful thing to say, because every parent, they feel a sense of ownership of their kids, and which kind of becomes controlling. Like parents become very controlling of their kids, like they want their kids to do what they want them to do. So it kind of becomes like that. So parents want their kids to kind of live for them, because they're technically asking them to do the things that they want them to do. And which is not healthy for the relationship, because when kids grow up, uh, they become rebels and they kind of resent their parents. So even though your kids are your kids, they're not actually your kids. They are independent individuals who are born and raised in a different circumstance, which with different possibilities, with different interests. They are their own individuals. They have their own self, they have their own different interests, and like not just interests, like they have their own way of doing things. So as a parent, they should respect the individuality of the kid. So in that sense, your children are not your children. This thing that like Harish Anjana says, it makes so much sense, and it's so beautiful that she said that. When I put this poll out on my Instagram, I wasn't expecting such profound insights. Like, I was blown away, because, like, normally we expect that teenagers or early adults to be very immature. They don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're talking, right? Like, these responses are so profound, man. Like, had if their parents had conversation about this with their kids about the same topic, had if the kids could tell what they want to tell with their parents, things would change like so much. But parents don't see kids as adults, or like they don't see kids as grown-ups. Their opinion, like your opinion matters only when your parents see you as grown-ups, or else they think you're very immature. So yeah, let's move to the next response, which is by Kirtana.Venkatesh. uh, she says, try and understand my perspective too. uh, this happens not just with parents, it's with any relationship, friendship, or like a boyfriend girlfriend, or like, yeah, parents, or like cousins, or anything. People are so much consumed by their own version of reality, and like they have their own perspective, that they never think what it's like from the other person's view. And with parents, what happens is that there comes a sense of narcissism and ego, because they are much more older, and they've been there on this planet for more than the kids have been. So there is this sense of, you don't know what you're talking about, like I've been there on this earth longer than you have, so I know what I'm talking about. So it's like the sense of ego and narcissism that comes. So their perspective is the right perspective. Like this is with most of the parents, very they're not very encourage like they're not very encouraging of other perspectives, especially their kids perspective. So Kirtana Venkatesh says that, like, if the parents would try and understand things from her perspective, probably things would have been better than what I've like how it is right now. The next response is by Sharon Mary underscore. Telling a child that they are good for nothing can actually affect the child's confidence. Man, this is so like normal in like any family, that parents being dissatisfied with their kids, and every time they are dissatisfied, they do yell that they are good for nothing. Like whenever a kid fails at something, they do say this. And there is a lot of study that shows, and I've talked about like child psychology with Neha Taparia. So I did an episode on comprehending child psychology with her. uh, so she has a lot of experience in this field, like dealing with like children and child psychology. So after talking to her, I realized, and after reading certain articles, I realized that what the vibrations and the environment the kid grows up in add so much to their psyche and how they behave. Like it adds so much to their personality and nature, and what kind of like the person the kid becomes. The environment matters a lot. So I had a friend who had dark skin tone and was insecure about that dark skin tone, because and her mom kept telling things like, she's not pretty, or like, like she's dark. And that generated so much insecurity in her. Like her mom wouldn't have thought about it when she's saying all those things, because she was just a kid and she would like randomly forget it or something. Like I don't know what goes in parents head when they say things like this. But there is so many things, man. Like there's a lot of like Sharon Mary underscores, like she's saying here, uh, I sometimes like lose confidence when my parents say that I'm not good at something, not something good for nothing. Like I've heard that, and I've heard a lot of parents say that too. It kind of like, we as an individual, we are dealing with a lot of existential crisis right now, right? Like because our generation, in like 20th century, like whatever things are around us, we don't have like a basic survival problems. Like we don't have things like drought, or we are not hunting for food. So technically all the difficult things have been taken care of by our previous generation. So we have so many like mental problems that we have to deal with, because we don't have those existential problems. uh sorry, survival problems. Yeah, because we don't have survival problems, we have existential problems. uh so we are dealing with a lot of those. And in school there's a lot of things that happens, like kids might get bullied, and if they come back home where they're supposed to feel safe, when parents say things like you're good for nothing, they'll actually start believing that they're good for nothing. uh, and which is very hard to overcome. Like once an insecurity is developed, it's not easy to get rid of it, especially if you're growing up as an adult. Like the more you grow up, the stronger the insecurity becomes without dealing it. It's like when like you bend a branch of a plant, as it grows, the bend becomes stronger, so you cannot make it straight. Like it becomes harder to make it straight. Like that's exactly what happens when parents say shit like this to their kids. uh, there is, they can say the same thing with different choice of words. Like, what can a kid do when their parents say that he's good for nothing? Like, is there something constructive coming out of it? Parents could use that, they could change the vocabulary and say things that could actually, like help them overcome that, like whatever that is. Let's say if I'm bad at something, they could probably give me tips on how I can become better at that, other than saying that I'm shit and I can't do that shitty job. Like, yeah, like the feedback should be constructive. I know I use this word a lot in my podcast, like with respect to friendships or relationships, anything, like always make it, like keep it constructive. If it's not constructive, then just get rid of it. But with parents, you cannot get rid of your parents, right? Like you have to deal with it. Like if they're not being constructive, it impacts so much. And I hope a lot of parents realize this. Let's move to the next response, which is by Rudra Raval. Parents should let their child slash children choose what they really want to choose as a career. Hmm. We are back to the career thing. Man, like I'll try to empathize from parents' perspective because they didn't really have a lot of money growing up. Like an average Indian parents, like who comes from middle class, uh, like family, which is the majority of Indian families. So they didn't see a lot of money. So they've had a lot of financial problems. So they want their kids to be in a stable career, make enough money so that they don't have to go through what they went through. So thinking from that perspective, they want their kids to have stable career so that they don't have to suffer financial problems. And these like stable careers are engineering or law or medicine or whatever they think is stable. Uh, I mean, let's say my kid comes to me and says, you know what, I want to do painting as a career. Like, you as a parent, you have been long enough in the earth and you have your own perspective of if painting is good for making money or not. So, like, okay, the kids, this is to the children. Like, if you want to do, like, if you want to choose a career, uh, and if your parents think it's not stable, you need to find a middle ground, which is actually good for you too. Like, I did my bachelor's in design, right? Which is a 4 year course, like which was 4 years, and it is a proper bachelor's degree. So it's not a course, it's not like a 6 months course, it's not like a 1 year course. So it's like I want to do something creative, and my parents wanted me to have a stable career. And one of my cousin was in this design space who also did masters in design, so she advised me to choose like bachelor's in design because she knew my interests. So then it was easy for me to convince my parents because I wanted to do something creative, and bachelor's in design uh, was a secure bachelor's. So yeah, and I convinced them, so I did this. So it's like, even though you're choosing something as a career which might have risks of not making money, you should still figure out a way to make money so that your parents are convinced. So let's say you want to do painting as a career, and your parents think that like painting will not make you enough money to have a sustainable living, then you should also figure out a way to make money so that you can do paintings. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, like this is the part where, like, this is the point of view that is coming from me empathizing with parents, because yes, they do want you to have a stable career, but even though you find even though you find like a stable in betweens, but still sometimes the parents are not convinced because according to them certain professions are noble and certain professions are not. Like, like they want to have an element where they want to tell to their friends, right? Like this whole like the neighbors, like I have to tell that my son is doing something great to one of my friend. Like the parents have this mentality, so it's like once you overcome like the obstacle that we spoke about having stability, the second hurdle is having like having a career that is socially acceptable, like it has like a social status. Like basically like parents, when they say their kids are doctors, they want a certain ego boost. So like a lot of parents want their kids to have careers in like a reputed fields so that they can tell it to their friends. So this is actually harder to overcome than the first one. Like the first one was where your parents want you to have like a steady career so that you don't have to face financial problems. That you can convince them or overcome it by actually creating a stable path and showing it to them. You know what? Like, see, I can do painting and I can also do this to earn money. So you know what? Like it's balanced, blah blah blah, like that. But the second one, right, like this one, this the social status which will lead to an ego boost. This is so fucking hard to overcome. For like, it's hard to like tell your parents to not give a fuck about what people think. This is so fucking hard. So yeah. So now let's move to the next response. The next response is by underscore November underscore whiskey underscore. Old ways aren't the only ways to life. Uh, this is so true because as things progress, a lot of opportunities emerge, a lot of things change, a lot of circumstances change. Like uh, in this in this generation, we are seeing a lot of technological advances which are replacing a lot of jobs. So technically, if you want to do something, let's say in engineering field, a lot of things are being replaced by AI bots, right? So it's like engineering might not be a stable career. I mean, this is just an like an example that I'm throwing out there. So but it was a stable career a few years back. uh so yeah, and it's like parents need to evolve their mindset. They need to look at new things with a lot of with a radical point of view. uh they need to first of all, they need to be in a place where they will listen and they are open to other opportunities. To know that, like some parents, they don't even listen to like what's happening out there. So and like I said, there is this ego part, right? Like there's a sense of narcissism that comes with living on the planet and like learning from the mistakes. There's a lot of like, as you grow up, you learn a lot of things and it's hard to unlearn them. So like that's that's why our parents, it's so hard to convince that there are new possibilities which might be contradicting to the way that they chose, or which might be contradicting to what they think is the way to life. So to like, I think it's hard to convince parents that, you know what, there is other ways. Like old ways aren't the only ways. Though like parents should be in a place where they're listening to it. So if they're not listening, there is no point in you like trying to convince them. So it's like it's work on both ends. So let's say for me, right, like me personally, one of the hardest things for me to overcome was getting out of a toxic environment with my friends. So I had a circle which was very toxic, and that was like after my breakup or something. Yeah, like that was the hardest thing for me to overcome. So now I have a very strong perspective on friends and what sort of friends you should have, or like what sort of relationship you should have with a girl, or with a guy if you're in love with, because I've been through pain. So pain generates strong opinions, right? So even our parents have been through something, and they have their own opinions. Let's say like this is just a random example. Let's say my dad started a business. He failed utterly, and like he had to go bankrupt, okay? Let's say this is just an example. uh, so let's say if I have a business idea, it's very hard for my dad to listen to my business idea and support it, because he has been through so much because of that. This is just a random example, but you get what I mean, right? Like, pain causes strong opinions, and strong opinions are very very hard to change. So that's why, like, the older you get, the harder it is to convince them of something that is new. uh so, like, let's say just go and talk to your parents about how relationships are progressing, like with this whole Tinder, Bumble, like with the whole dating apps. Just try it and talk to them about this. See what sort of response they give. It's so interesting. To you, the new norm might be normal. To them, it's not at all normal. And like, I understand where they are coming from. Like, it's hard to accept and normalize things that sucks. Like, I do not like the concept of dating apps and like how they function. So, like, I have a strong opinion. I have a strong stance, so I don't use any dating apps. Imagine my parent, like, if me being in this generation, if I am not, like, if I don't have a good opinion on dating apps, why would my parents have? So it's like a lot of things that are negative are being normalized in our generation, which is very like detrimental, which is not good at all. So, like, it's hard to, like, for parents to normalize that. But thinking from like career perspective, like, people, like parents need to see what's happening out there. They need to read a lot of stuff. They need to see how world is progressing to know what career might boom or not. So my dad was okay with me doing my bachelor's in design, because design right now is booming. So, like, this is one of the well paid jobs in India, which is booming. So when I told my dad this, when I showed like statistics saying, you know what, dad, like, see, this is how things are progressing, and if when I told him, he was pretty, like, he had a really good receiving end, and he got convinced. So it's like, had if I didn't tell my dad or like how things were progressing, he wouldn't have convinced. And sometimes, like, since my dad was like pretty nice, he got convinced. But if, let's say, it's hard to convince some parents because they have really really strong opinions. So yeah, I don't know particularly what solution there is to this problem, other than having a listening end and having an open mindedness to actually see and look for things that shows the options and opportunities for different career paths that our kids want to choose before opposing them. So yeah. Joyce Sneha response: irrespective to male or female, child slash children need to be taught cooking, sweeping, etc. So in India, traditionally, there are a lot of things uh, that society deems that only male should do and only female should do, which is changing for sure. But like, growing up, like, sweeping floors, like mopping, or like doing dishes, traditionally males weren't encouraged to do that, because that was like a female job, like women are supposed to do. So, like, parents, like, normalizing this and removing gender barriers from doing chores, it is actually a good thing. Because, like, I love cooking, like, personally I like, I'm not a good cook, but I'm very curious to learn cooking. So when I was living by myself in Bangalore, I would cook for myself by myself. And so it was very interesting. So, like, had if parents teach their kids equally, and if they like, they need to have the similar expectation from both the genders with respect to chores. Like, uh if you're asking your daughter to wash dishes, you're supposed to ask your son to also wash dishes. I mean, I do know that, like, males are males and females are females, but like, uh yeah, I think that things are changing now. So Joey Sneha, like, whatever, like the response that she gave, I think that is already being applied. Like the change is already happening, like with our generation. uh, so yeah. The next response is by Shriram O underscore O. Uh, Give us life advice, not career advice. The job scenarios in our times are different. Oh my god. This is I don't even have to put effort to segue to different topics, because the responses itself have been such a beautiful segue. Like, I started this podcast talking about statistics which shows like what Indian parents expect from their kids, and like slowly we are again coming back to this. So like this is the last response, and this is I so much agree with this, because like life advice is something that will help you define life, that will help you navigate life. Like, even though times have changed, good things and bad things have always existed. People always had to deal with good things and bad things. uh like, parents have so much wisdom because they've been through so many hurdles in life. Just giving like life advice so that they will make their own choices, who like they will create their own life, they'll create their own scenarios, right? The foundation of all of that is what they want in life. And how are they determining things? How, like, basically we want to do things that makes us happy, and we avoid things that makes us sad, right? Like, there's a definition of what is happy and what is sad. There are some sad things that you'll have to endure to be happy, like that's coming out of the comfort zone, which is like hard work, and all of that. So it's technically hard work is not easy, but like that will lead you to the happy place that you want to go. It's like when parents give life advice like this, it will shape the child's path. It will pave the path. It's the foundation. So they will live by this, because there are a lot of things that my dad told me when I was a kid that I still live by. I still remember when I was in 5th grade, my dad told me this one thing. He said, choose a career that you are still willing to do the job even though you're not getting paid a dime. And I still remember by this day, because sometimes we do jobs for money, and so it's like that that definition I will remember it till I die, like no matter what I do. So every single time I get an opportunity, like an internship opportunity, or like if I get a job or whatever, like whatever I want to do, I question this. Like, am I doing this because I like doing what I'm doing, or because I'm doing this for money? So it's like, this is not a career advice, this is a life advice. Like, this is how I took it. So that's how I see all the things. Like, now I do something because I want to do this, not because not because I'm getting something out of it, not because I want something else. So I'm doing this because I want to do this. So let's say if I'm doing this podcast, I'm doing this because I want to do this and I love doing this, not because I become famous one day, or I'll make money one day, I'll get sponsorships, blah blah blah. I mean, those are like goals, but that's not why I do this. So that one piece of advice changed a lot of things in my life. And that's such a good note to end this podcast on. Ladies and gentlemen, for all the people who have like responded, thank you so much for all these responses. There is, man, I love the like doing this Q&A episode, because I feel like I'm having a conversation with the people. And if you want to do that, if you want to be a part of this conversation and respond to the question, you can follow me on Instagram at Sankarshan Joshi Trip. This podcast is now recorded on video as well as audio. If you want to get the video version, you can come to YouTube. If you want to listen to the audio versions, you can go to Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, JioSavan, Ghana. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, have a safe week, have a safe day, have fun.
A Sankarshan Joshi trip.